hottest Tarzan actors, their secrets and scandals. Remember when heroes looked carved from oak and did their own danger? Here's the truth behind the loincloth: an Olympian who made the water his stage, a war-tested gentleman who restored Lord Greystoke's poise, and a television Tarzan who paid in broken bones for authenticity. We'll count down the 10 who set the standard and reveal the shockers along the way. The terrified first Tarzan, the lawsuit that changed sets, and the farewell, where a jungle yell played 3 times. But before we proceed, drop your top 3 Tarzans in the comments before we roll. Name the exact 3 you think make our final 5. If you nail it, come back and gloat. And if you miss, confess which reveal blindsided you. Number 10, Glenn Morris, the Olympic champion who made movie history. The twist? The most perfectly built athlete in Olympic history almost never made it to the movies. 1936, decathlon champion Glenn Morris brought Olympic economy to Tarzan. Few lines, maximum impact. With a camera-perfect V-taper and sprinter speed, his single outing proved real athletes make action feel dangerous. Morris possessed the balanced physique that only comes from mastering every track and field discipline. Quiet confidence of a true champion translated beautifully to his screen presence. The film itself bombed commercially, but Morris proved that real athletes brought authenticity that trained actors couldn't match. His natural grace made every movement look effortless and believable. Morris set his world record decathlon score on the same track where Jesse Owens was making Olympic history. Talk about perfect timing. If you think Olympic champions making movies was impressive, wait until you hear about the athlete who didn't just play Tarzan. He completely fooled Hollywood about who he really was. 9. Herman Brix, the Olympic silver medalist who reinvented himself. The part they don't tell you. One of Hollywood's most respected dramatic actors was hiding a double life. Herman Brix, the 1928 Olympic shot put silver medalist, not only played Tarzan, but completely transformed into one of the Golden Age's most respected character actors. Brix's 45-inch chest and 19-inch arms had powered him to Olympic glory. Edgar Rice Burroughs himself handpicked him for the new adventures of Tarzan in 1935, seeing the intelligence behind those 32-inch waist proportions. Unlike other muscle-bound actors, Brix portrayed Tarzan exactly as Burroughs wrote him, an educated English nobleman who chose jungle life. His Olympic-trained discipline showed in every choreographed sequence. But here's where Brix became truly brilliant. Realizing that Tarzan might typecast him, he changed his name to Bruce Bennett and reinvented himself as a serious dramatic actor, eventually starring in Mildred Pierce and The Treasure of the Sierra Madre. The man took acting lessons from Max Reinhardt and lived to be 100, proving that the greatest generation never stopped improving themselves. But what if I told you the next actor had something even more stunning? A physique so perfect that photographers called him one of the most beautiful men who ever lived? 8. Buster Crabbe, the swimming champion who made one perfect film. Imagine being so physically perfect that photographers declared you one of the most beautiful men who ever lived, then making just one Tarzan film that changed everything. Clarence Lyndon Crabbe brought legitimate swimming credentials and often cited by studio photographers for his symmetry. Crabbe's ease in water made every scene look inevitable. These weren't gym muscles. They were earned through countless hours in pools and on diving boards. His natural grace in water made every swimming sequence look effortless, showing how bodies should move through that element. Tarzan the Fearless flopped financially, but Crabbe's single performance launched him into a career spanning decades, from Flash Gordon to Buck Rogers. This one brief loincloth stint proved that sometimes perfect casting changes everything. Crabbe was so athletic that he actually had to tone down his swimming abilities for cameras. His natural stroke was too powerful and looked unrealistic on film. That wasn't the only Discovery story that would change Tarzan history forever. Coming up next is a tale so unlikely. It sounds like pure Hollywood fiction. 7. Denny Miller, the fresh-faced discovery of the Golden Age. What are the odds that a college basketball player would walk into a studio and become Hollywood's golden boy overnight? From a UCLA gym, Denny Miller gave MGM a bright, approachable Tarzan, and proof the role could be clean-cut and athletic without losing bite. Miller's physical presence was undeniable. A 46-inch chest with the natural development of a true athlete and long limbs that made him look born to swing through trees. His genuine enthusiasm reminded audiences why they fell in love with Tarzan originally. Miller's casting in Tarzan the Ape Man worked perfectly because of his authentic charm. This wasn't a cynical veteran. This was a young man living every American boy's adventure fantasy. MGM immediately signed him to a long-term contract after his screen test, seeing him as their adventure film future. Though his Tarzan stint was brief, it launched a television career lasting decades. Miller's Hollywood dream was nothing compared to what happened to our next actor. A story so wild, it proves that sometimes fate really does have a sense of humor. 6. Gordon Scott, the pool boy who became a legend. Here's the beat that sold it. A handsome pool attendant lounging beside a Beverly Hills swimming pool gets discovered by a talent scout and becomes one of cinema's most memorable Tarzans. Gordon Scott's journey from pool boy to jungle king is pure Hollywood magic. Scott's credentials were impressive. 6 feet 3 inches, with a beautifully proportioned 45-inch chest and natural muscle definition, proving he was no stranger to physical work. His athletic ability set him apart during his 1955 to 1960 run, and he did much of his own action work. Scott's cycle leaned into solo jungle trials, with fewer Jane-centric entries, and audiences loved the focus. Scott proved that sometimes the most interesting relationships are between a man and his jungle family. Scott spent months learning to work with wild animals, developing such rapport with chimpanzees that they responded to his direction. That's genuine animal magnetism. Speaking of genuine qualities, our next Tarzan brought something to the role that no amount of training could teach. The real courage of a decorated war hero. 5. Lex Barker, the decorated war hero who brought class to the jungle. This is the story of a man who earned his muscles, fighting real battles before he ever swung through Hollywood trees. A decorated World War II veteran. Barker wore both the suit and the loincloth like birthrights, restoring Lord Greystoke's poise to the jungle. Barker's military background showed in every aspect of his performance. A decorated World War II veteran had faced real danger, and that courage translated perfectly to fearless work with wild animals. His 6'2" frame, 44-inch chest, and natural leader bearing brought authentic heroism to the character. While other actors played up savage aspects, Barker reminded audiences this was Lord Greystoke, a man of breeding who chose jungle life. His approach suggested the noble heritage behind the character. His chemistry with various Jane actresses was legendary in Hollywood. Here was a leading man who treated co-stars with respect, creating believable romantic tension throughout the series. But even Barker's impressive military record pales in comparison to the raw, untrained power of the man who literally invented what it meant to be Tarzan on screen. 4. Elmo Lincoln, the pioneering giant who started it all, prepared to be shocked by the truth about cinema's very first Tarzan. He was terrified of the one thing Tarzan did best. Cinema's first Tarzan, a stevedore-strong Elmo Lincoln, built the template and did it while conquering a real fear of heights. His physical presence was absolutely staggering for his era. His chest measured an astounding 52 inches, expanding to 53 when flexed. the kind of raw, natural power that seemed almost superhuman. Remember, this was long before gyms and protein shakes. This was pure, old-fashioned American strength. His massive frame came from honest work as a stevedore and railroad man before D.W. Griffith discovered him. When Lincoln's shirt tore during a fight scene, revealing that enormous chest, Griffith immediately knew he'd found something special. Lincoln committed completely to the physical demands. He wasn't afraid to look primitive when scenes called for it, yet could suggest intelligence beneath the wild exterior. Lincoln may have been the first, but our next actor proved that sometimes the most dangerous path leads to the greatest glory and the heaviest price. Number 3, Mike Henry, the NFL star who conquered 2 worlds. Here's a man who literally walked away from millions of dollars to fight for what was right. And it all started with a chimpanzee's bite. NFL, hardened. Mike Henry insisted on real animals, real stunts, and took a chimp bite to the face for it. When conditions crossed the line, he walked and sued, forcing safer sets. Henry brought legitimate athletic credentials. 6 seasons as linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Los Angeles Rams gave him a 6'2" frame with a 46-inch chest and 18-inch arms. This was NFL-tested strength, not Hollywood muscle. Henry's absolute commitment to authenticity set him apart. He insisted on doing his own stunts, working directly with lions, tigers, and chimpanzees in conditions that would terrify most stuntmen. During Tarzan and the Jungle Boy filming, a chimpanzee bit his face, requiring 20 stitches. Critics universally agreed. Henry looked more like classic Tarzan illustrations than any actor before or since. His dark hair, square jaw, and muscled frame were exactly what readers had imagined. When conditions became too dangerous, Henry had the courage to walk away from millions and sue producers for maltreatment. He stood up for what was right, even when it cost him the Batman role he was being considered for. Henry's dedication was impressive, but it was nothing compared to the man who turned television, Tarzan, into an art form and paid a price that haunts Hollywood to this day. Number 2, Ron Ely, the dedicated perfectionist who paid the ultimate price. What price would you pay to bring your childhood hero to life? And would it be worth losing everything? Ron Ely didn't just play Tarzan from 1966 to 1968. He became Tarzan through sheer will and superhuman pain tolerance. Ely's 6 feet 4 inches athletic build made him look born for the role. A 44-inch chest and long limbs that made tree-swinging sequences absolutely believable. His 32-inch waist and broad shoulders gave him that classic triangular physique, defining the ideal leading man. Ely's absolute insistence on doing every single stunt himself set him apart. While others used doubles for dangerous work, Ely personally swung from vines, dove from impossible heights, and worked directly with Hollywood's most dangerous animals. His 17-inch arms were strong enough to support his entire body weight during aerial sequences. The price was staggering. Over just 2 seasons, Ely suffered 2 broken shoulders, multiple broken bones, countless cuts and bruises, and survived lion bites requiring immediate medical attention. Any one of those injuries would have sidelined most actors for months. Ely's performance was memorable because of the intelligence he brought to the role. This wasn't just a muscle man grunting through adventures. Ely's Tarzan spoke multiple languages, solved complex problems, and displayed noble bearing that reminded audiences of the character's aristocratic heritage. Ely maintained his physique through swimming, gymnastics, and martial arts training that would challenge athletes half his age. But as impressive as Ely's dedication was, there was one man whose athletic achievements were so extraordinary that they still seem impossible today, and his transformation into Tarzan created a legend that has never been equaled. Number 1, Johnny Weissmuller, the Olympic champion who became cinema's greatest Tarzan. Ready to discover the secret that made Hollywood's greatest Tarzan possible? 5 Olympic golds, by 67 world records, and a body that moved through water like myth. He didn't imitate Tarzan, he defined him. His inimitable yell became cinema's audio logo, and with Maureen O'Sullivan, he gave the series its heart. Weissmuller brought credentials no actor could match. A competitive swimming career where he never lost a single freestyle race. His athletic achievements alone would have guaranteed historical immortality, but his movie transition made him truly legendary. His 6'3" frame possessed what many consider the most perfectly proportioned male physique ever captured on film. His natural charisma and screen presence were undeniable. MGM famously described him as the only man in Hollywood whose natural athleticism and can act without clothes. Born in the Austro-Hungarian Empire, now Romania, and raised in the United States, he became an American Olympic icon. His journey from immigrant child to American hero perfectly embodied the dreams that brought so many families to this country. The famous Tarzan yell Weissmuller created came from powerful lungs and breath control of a man who had trained his entire respiratory system for peak performance. Even in later years, Weissmuller remained proud of his Tarzan legacy. When he passed away in 1984, his famous yell was played 3 times at his funeral, a final tribute to the man who had given the world its most beloved jungle hero. As we reach the end of our journey through Tarzan history, it's worth remembering what made these 10 men so special before effects faked danger. These men made it feel real, and that's why the legacy still roars. Do you think we missed a name which was worth mentioning? Let us know in the comments. Each of these remarkable actors added something unique to Burroughs' immortal creation, proving that great characters can be interpreted in many different ways while still honoring the spirit of the original, from Lincoln's pioneering strength to Weissmuller's athletic perfection, from Henry's NFL toughness to Ely's dedicated craftsmanship. They created a legacy that continues to inspire new generations of adventure lovers. The next time you hear that famous yell or see a man swinging through the trees, remember the real heroes who made those moments possible. They didn't just play Tarzan, they lived the dream that every one of us carried in our hearts from the moment we first discovered the magic of the movies. These were the giants who taught us that heroes could be both powerful and gentle, savage and noble, primitive and sophisticated. In a world that often seems to have forgotten what real strength looks like, their legacy reminds us that true heroism comes from the courage to be authentic, no matter the cost.